Hello there everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Unlimited video. You're probably shocked to see this many uploads in a row from me because I've had a kind of insane last couple of weeks. For those of you who have not been following the channel, I got top 4 at the Gundam Regionals in Seville, which was like a 300-person event or so. And I won a PQ yesterday. I won the first ever limited PQ in the UK. Here's the proof. Here's the proof, and of course the thumbnail will show the picture at the actual venue. And so this is going to be a couple things. This is going to be my sort of tournament reports for that. And this is also going to be me flagging to you that I have now put up a really detailed primer and like basically masterclass on playing limited in Star Wars Unlimited, particularly Legends of the Force limited. So it's over 2 hours long. It is like a full analysis of how to play limited, how to play sealed, how to play draft, what matters, how to go about it, what the competitive format for those things is like, what is good in those formats, how to evaluate cards in those formats, then a full review of the entire Legend of the Force set, like with limited in mind, specifically evaluating cards of different rarities, different aspects. I do a bunch of maths. I break down like what the different like aspects are, how good they are relative to one another, like on a statistical basis. And then I have 4 full examples of sealed pools where I literally go through and I deck build right in front of you, all in that masterclass. It's available for now on my Metafy. Please do check it out. I would really appreciate the support because it helps me go to lots more events and hopefully keep doing as well as I have been the last 2 weekends, which has obviously been insane. But with that shilling out of the way, this is basically just a video where I want to talk about the experience of doing a limited PQ because that's, I think, maybe the 2nd or 3rd one in the world. There really haven't been that many of them. And I don't know how many there will be for set 6, but I'm very excited for them because I found it tremendously fun. Of course, some of that probably coloured by the fact I won. And I think they are something the community should really like latch onto and enjoy more because, my God, they are really fantastic. So I'm going to start off by giving my tournament report, and then I'm going to kind of go through and talk about the format a bit, talk about what like the prep I did, and limited though it was, ironically, pun genuinely not intended. And then I'm going to also talk about my hopes for sort of set 6 and how I think that limited format's going to be different at the moment. So start off. 61 players for the PQ, which I think was a pretty solid turnout for the first limited PQ. This was more expensive than any other PQ. It was 50 quid. Also, I had my trains were all shut down, so I had to get another 50 quid taxi to get to the station, which was super fun. But anyway, that's me moaning. And then you get... so the way it works is you got 6 packs and you sat down and you were paired off with someone. And you would open your packs in front of them. They'd watch you open them. They'd watch you pull the cards in front of them. Then they would open their packs. You would watch them. And then when they were done and you were done, you would then exchange piles of cards and you would write down, the person opposite you, all the cards they got. You would then pass back. They would double check everything was on there. And then if you were both happy, you would sign it off. And then that's it. That's fixed. Those are your cards. You hand it to the judge. It's done. Well, not exactly. Then you get your time to deck build. And you've got obviously a bunch of cards. You do all your usual deck building stuff. And then you need to mark off on that sheet what your initial deck is going to be. And that is fixed for the whole tournament until Top Cut. So I personally made some mistakes. Every single round I was basically like game 2, game 3, I was boarding out 4, boarding in 4. Like I was like, okay, this was bad. I also just for some reason coped an Obi-Wan yellow deck that was not viable at all. I was like, okay, I can't have the pool here. I didn't have the 2 drops for it. And check out my Metafy. It all makes sense, but I really recommend you do. Anyway, so I ended up going with Talzin Red because if memory serves, I basically got I got a Morgan Elspeth and a Ahsoka, 2 Obi-Wans, a leader I can't remember, and a Talzin. So I was like, okay, well, it's either Talzin or Obi-Wan. These are sort of the 2 options. But then I looked at my pool and I was expecting it to be like Talzin Green or something initially as I was sort of opening the packs, but it ended up I really just ended up getting pushed towards Talzin Red. I kind of had and it was kind of just because, well, every single one of my decent leaders requires me to be Third Sister, I think it was. So I kind of had to be involved in the Force. Looking at Third Sister, I didn't really feel like I had enough good aggro cards. So, okay, I'm either in Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, or Talzin. To be honest, I probably would have made a better Talzin deck, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka deck, rather than a Obi-Wan deck, but it is what it is. I've learned a lot, having now played that PQ and had to go through and do it like all on the spot. And I applied all my learnings basically in draft, which I was able to like draft a really good deck and win. But we'll come on to that later. So I think I probably could have made a better Ahsoka yellow deck rather than Obi-Wan yellow deck. But anyway, besides the point. And I was sort of looking, I was like, well, all my Force units are villains, so like I have to play Talzin. Like I really don't have another choice. And then it was like Talzin Red because again I just had the highest density of units. I was really like, okay, well I have to curve. I have to have units, and like they're all there, so it sort of kind of built itself for me because I was like, well, here's the colors the units are in, and I need Force units because my leaders. So okay, cool, there we go. And then it was just a question of trying to make cuts. And I'll tell you the big thing is I did not value the upgrades anywhere near enough in my initial 30 because basically every game I was siding out some random crap and putting in four off-aspect upgrades. So I was playing like 5 upgrades in my deck. One of them was in aspect. It was the +3/+3 one, which is crazy. I've forgotten the name of. And then I was boarding in 4 off-aspect ones because they were either heroic or they were like green or yellow. And I was not in either of those colors, but I was like, hey man, like I'll pay it. I'll happily pay it. So yeah, super good strategy, I think, to like start just playing those upgrades of aspect because it worked out really well for me. Anyway, on to the actual report in terms of the games and the matchups. So round 1, I played against a Snoke Blue. I'm going to be honest, I played like shit like this round. I played really badly. Game 1, I fully threw, like I just for no reason. I just took a greedy play for literally no reason. There was no need to do it. And I got Giga Punished and I lost. And I was like immediately like, oh, okay. I guess this is what happens when you don't play Star Wars for a couple of weeks and you're like suddenly super rusty. Thankfully, able to lock in and bring it back 2-1, but very close, stressful set, which is obviously like not the best way to start the day. Round 2, I was on stream against Ollie. Shoutouts Ollie, Nexus Big O Notation, the GOAT, who absolutely mollywopped me. So this was a mirror match. Those of you who watched it may have been a bit confused because so game 1, play the mirror. I think I'm kind of coming out of it better mostly, and then he just starts slamming like big things and I'm drawing like little things. I'm like, okay, I'm not winning this game. So I end up losing game 1, and I'm sitting there going, okay, well, I could try and run back this mirror. I just don't think my deck is as good as his. Like, I just don't think I have the same Talzin deck, and he was correct. You know, I was playing this Talzin deck. I didn't have a Talzin Assassin, didn't have a single one. My best card was basically Karis. Like, I didn't have an Eldaka, I didn't have, like, a bunch of these things. I truly was just making the best of what I had. I could probably, if I remember, I will add a picture of what my actual sealed deck was for those of you who are interested. But then, so I was like, okay, you know what, sod it. I'm going to try and play this janky Obi-Wan thing, which has 1 copy of Pounce and a few creatures, and I might just be able to steal a game. And then Oliver proceeded to open literally the most ridiculous, broken opening hand in Talzin I've ever seen. Literally perfect curve. After the game, he said, I don't think it mattered what you did. I missed turn 1 drop. So I was like, okay, cool. Well, this is, yeah. So it didn't really matter. It is what it is. So I got absolutely mollywopped on stream, which was, you know, great. Of course, a great start to the day, 1-1, but it is what it is. Round 3, it was a Talzin Mirror, which I took 2-0. I think, yeah, realizing I had to lock in. And I think generally just my deck was a bit better than my opponents. It felt like I curved out more consistently. I had good bombs. I was on the upgrade plan. I had more upgrades than my opponents did, largely because I was just playing them off aspect and they weren't. So I won that one 2-0. And similarly, round 4, again, it was another mirror match and I won that 2-0. So same kind of game plan. Round 5, I was against Ahsoka Yellow. And I believe I won this 2-0. It was either 2-0 or 2-1, not 100% sure. But this was a slightly spooky... Was it Ahsoka Yellow? I might be lying. I think it was Ahsoka Yellow. It kind of was just like a steamroll game. Like it was really fast. So that's why I might be misremembering. But yeah, so then going into round 6, I was 4-1 and looked around the tables and there was 11 players who could make top 8. So I looked at my opponent and I was like, well... would you like to ID? And my opponent looked at me and was like, yes, I would like to ID. So we agreed to ID because I think we'd both kind of looked at the standings and gone, well, based on the maths here, there are 9 people competing for 6 top 8 spots, which means if everyone chooses to ID, then 3 people lose out. And my strength of scale was very good. I was like 3rd highest seed in X1. So I was like, yeah, cool. I'm fine with those odds. Like, I'll do that. My opponent's was slightly worse, but still pretty good. So I think he still would have gone in. But I think we were both just like, yeah, I mean, might as well. One of us definitely doesn't, or we kind of roll the dice. Fortuitously, no one else ID'd. And so like we were sitting there kind of looking around expecting other people to have ID'd. And the rest of the tables played it out. And because the rest of the X1s played it out, we both got in to top 8. So we were like, yeah, very good. So it was... the XOs, the all the X1s, and then us two who were X11. So that was obviously nice. It did, however, mean we came in as bottom seed, and the ID haters among you will be pleased to know that I did have some meaningful detriments to my progress through the top cut. So finished 7 in Swiss, just because I was above Cormac. Shout out to Cormac. And we then proceeded to the draft, and this was insanely stressful. I've never done a competitive draft before. I think I've only done casual drafts with like Asmodee, shout out to Asmodee, who always has got like boxes out the arse apparently, and is always fun to draft with. So the competitive draft, very, very different environment. You are assigned a random seat, you sit down, you are only allowed to have a playmate on the table, nothing else. It's taken super, super seriously. You open your packs, do not look at anything. You get to take out a card, you take out your leaders, put those down, you are then timed. You have you have 30 seconds to choose your first leader. There's a lot to consider in draft. I'm trying to look to my right, I'm trying to look to my left, figure out what everyone else is probably going to end up with around me so I can make an educated pick. Now, thankfully for me, my first pick was very, very easy because I had Talzin and then two garbage leaders, and I was like, okay, cool, well, Talzin, that's chosen. But then I was looking around and I was like, okay, cool, I'm probably going to get an Ahsoka from there. I didn't think I was actually going to get an Ahsoka. I ended up getting it because I saw there was another one coming, and then I think he's got the Ahsoka there, so he was like, cool, I'll get that. And then I got a Morgan. So I was like, you know what? Talzin, Morgan, and Ahsoka, that's a pretty solid pool. Yes, I'm probably locked into blue, but you know what? Blue felt like the best color in the set, and having done the stats, I can tell you it is the best color in the set. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm happy with that. So then pack 1, I'm trying to take generic blue things. So pack 1, my first pick, a foil Chirrut at the end of the pack. I was agonizing on this decision between that and a Karis in the uncommon slot, which I'm sure made it round to the only other person who ended up drafting Talzin at the table. His options were Talzin, Anakin, and Revan. So unsurprisingly, I think he went with the Talzin. So I was kind of looking for generic blue just to kind of give myself both odds, and then I was kind of taking green, and then I sort of noticed that a lot of people were taking green, and there was a lot of red coming around, so I was like, okay, cool, I'll start taking red, fine. So end of pack 1, I kind of had a pile of like blue, green, and red, largely villain, but like pretty generic, like single aspect with a couple villain and a couple hero, but mostly villain and mostly generic. One other thing I'll say is in the draft, so you're not allowed to look at your cards basically. So you take your pick, you put it face down in front of you, and once that pick's locked in, you're not allowed to look at any of the picks that you've done for that pack until the end of the pack. They all have to be in literally like one pile in front of you face down. So you have to just go off your memory. And then, like, the timings get really, really short. So, like, you have a minute for your first pack pick, but then it's like, it went down to, like, 5 seconds in, like, when there was 3 or 4 to choose from. Or 10 seconds. It was like, oh my god, that one. So, it was definitely... Sometimes there were shotgun picks, but sometimes it was agonizing, and I was having to just, like, make a decision. So then, pack 2, I rip an Anakin, and I'm like, oh my god. And obviously, that's, like, the best legendary I could possibly have gotten, because it's, again, works for both Ahsoka and Talzin. And in this pack... I am extremely rewarded for basically the 2 people to my left, or 3 people to my left, not being interested in blue villain whatsoever. So I'm getting past, like, basically the guy directly opposite me is the one who is the other person who's drafting Talzin. So I get 3 packs where I could just go, oh my god, yummy, 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 blue villain, blue villain, blue villain, blue villain, blue villain. So I managed to get a Talzin's Assassin and an Old Darker and a Drain Life. I'm like, oh my god, my first 4 picks from, like, this second pack have been absolute bombs, like literally bomb. So I'm like, okay, I'm feeling real good now. And at this point, I'm also seeing loads of red villains. So I'm like, cool, I'll build Talzin red, I guess. So I'm kind of locked into Talzin red. And then I think pack 3 is where I make a bit of a mistake. And I did make life slightly hard for myself. I did need to finish out my curve, but there was definitely a few packs where, a few picks, I should say, sorry, where I was taking cards that were like really not going to improve my game plan. I probably wasn't even going to play, but there were really solid hate draft options that I should have just taken. Like I distinctly remember the guy next to me was very clearly going to end up on hero, and there was a mace in my pack, and I took like a kind of do nothing just because of an aspect. And in hindsight, I should have just taken the mace to hate draft it. There was no reason not to. Like, it really wouldn't have set me back very far, but it would have made his deck way worse. So, just as a thing, like, I wish I'd hate drafted then, but again, it worked out. So, ended up with a really solid Talzin red list at the end of it all. Like, I was very pleasantly surprised at how good it was. I mean, obviously, ripping the Anakin helped, and then, like, getting past, like, a Talzin's Assassin and an Old Darker. Oh my god, beautiful. And I got some really solid red cards as well. Top 8, though, I have definitely my hardest matchup, which is a slogfest mirror. I'm like sitting there like every other turn going, I've lost this, I've lost this, I've lost this, and then somehow turning it around and like barely eking out a win, which is absolutely brutal. You know, it's like 9 p.m. or something at this point, like it's late. But barely eke out a win in the mirror. Thankfully taking out the only other tiles in red, so now I'm feeling really solid. But then I go up against a Kit yellow, and my god, Kit is so strong if you get the pool. Game 1 and Game 2 are scrappy games. We both barely get there. Like it's really close. And then Game 3 is like a total non-game. He like passes 2 turns in a row or something. I'm like, okay, well, cool. I get a free win, I guess. Is another Nexus savvy Steve. So shout out to Steve. Sorry that your deck said no, but I'm happy to report I did go ahead and win the finals for you. And then this one, I was against OB Blue, and this was kind of... because I'd finished my game quite quickly, I was able to go and watch the stream game, and I just saw like, I would like watch their game, and I was like, okay, well, she's playing big ships, so this is going to be one deck that like is going to pivot to space late game, so I kind of need to put a load of pressure on in the early game because she's going to be kind of slow then, and that's exactly what I did, and you can go and watch that stream game and you can see, but I basically just turned up the heat and just applied as much pressure as I possibly could. And that was really successful. It was able to get me there. I was able to take the finals down 2-0. And of course, securing myself not only this beautiful playmat, which is, in my opinion, the best looking winner playmat they've done so far. I really like this playmat. I'm not sure if it'll replace my Ray Kylo one or the Maul one, but it's real good. Got the playmat, of course, and secured my day 1 buy for the Galactic Championships this year, or my whatever they're calling it now, which I'm very excited about, especially this early into the season. I mean, it's been what, like 2 months, 3 months, or something like that. I can't count. So yeah, chuffed basically is the message. Takes a lot of pressure off as well, and it's good because now I can take Kylo ECL to my next PQ and have no regrets whatsoever. But there we go. So that's it. That's my limited PQ report. As I said, it was really fun. I really think it's a great format. I'm really excited for more limited PQs. I'm really excited to be casting the regional this weekend in Bilbao. So if you are going to be going along, please do come say hello. And of course, you can watch along. I haven't got the links and everything yet, but you will see those, I promise. And I'm really excited for that. Which should be great fun, and I'm really excited for Limited there, because I think there's going to be some really good players who will rise to the top and find they don't actually have to play Premier, because good players are rewarded, definitely. You could see it in the players who were doing well in Limited. It was just a lot of consistent players doing really well. So that was obviously fantastic. Looking at set 6, so I will say now my one big complaint about this set's Limited. The force mechanic is really bad for Limited because they just didn't print enough cheap force units. Like the rarity distribution just doesn't really make sense, basically, is the long and short of it. And some color combos just get totally screwed. One of the reasons why Talzin Red is just such a busted combination is because you have access to all the largest statistical number of cheap force units, which means you are most likely to actually see them. Now, obviously, it's an individual pool thing, but in the aggregate, that's unbalanced, and that's why part of why Talzin's so strong, among the other factors with her stat line and her ability and blah and best color. But so I think a mechanic that's based around having a particular trait and there actually not being that many of that trait in the set, weirdly, even though there's so many, is a bit of a miss. So that's my big issue with it. But set 6 is looking to not have that issue whatsoever. It's going to be a plot fiesta. I cannot wait. I think there's going to be some really fun limited games. And I will be doing a Metafy guide for set 6 as well, once I've done some good practice there. And I will be going to a limited PQ at least for set 6, maybe playing in a sector or regional as well. We'll see when the dates are, whenever those get announced. But I'm really excited. Okay, that's it for this video. Again, please do check out the Metafy for that 2-hour guide. Come on, 2 hours. It's not even that expensive. Go have a look, check out, link in the description, and I hope to see you guys in the next video if I don't see you over on Metafy on this channel, where you can subscribe to be notified when that comes out, and of course like the video if you enjoyed it, and let me know what you think in the comment section down below. See you soon. Thank you. Bye bye.